but a pretty brown, not brown. Okay. Which brown? Like this one? We could do this one. I'm getting ready tonight. I'll see you tomorrow. Keep your head up. Thanks, Big Bird. How about we do some caramel highlights? Hey, Oxy Kitten. You know what? I think I'm putting highlights in here by myself. I don't know how I'm doing that, but I can tell. Can't you? Is that neat? I don't know how I'm doing that. Oh yeah, Abby, you missed a whole chapter. For what now? Why did we have to... What? I don't know if the police came. Can we just color? Can we just color and just have a good night, please? I don't want to do drama. Please. Went to a movie with the kids and I missed all the excitement. No, Noxy Kitten, it's not excitement. We're not talking about it. I'm coloring. We are going to listen to my book. I have the iPad. We're going to listen to it while I color. You don't want to talk to us? I do. Thank you for subscribing. You're the first subscriber on this account. Congratulations. Autumn's my first subscriber. Wow. Thank you. You're welcome. I'm afraid to subscribe. He's sleeping. He's sleeping. Okay. We were just worried. No, okay. What do I want to talk to you? What do you mean? Someone owes me money. Oh shit. Oh shit. Oh shit. Okay, hold on. Wait. Do you care more? My child's sleeping. You need to go to bed. Okay. I know this is gonna be pretty sad, but I'm gonna turn off the comments while I read my book. Sorry. Okay. I'm gonna color, you're gonna listen. Okay? Actually, no, I'm not doing that. Hold on a second. If people make fun of me, they make fun of me. I don't give a shit. Whatever. People are here for me. They support me. Right? Right. Fuck it all. All right, here we go. I promise I'm not gonna cry.
From childhood to cyberbullying, my journey, Chapter 1, the birth story of my sister. and my sister and I were born on June 2nd, 1992. My biological mother was 16 at the time, and my dad was also 16. They were unable to take care of us, so my grandparents took over. The story that I was told from my grandparents was that we were very sick when we first were born. My sister and I are twins. They called us fraternal twins, and they also referred to us as mirror twins, just like Mary, Kate, and Ashley Olsen. When the doctor delivered my sister and I via C-section, the doctor had to pick one of us to be older, and the doctor chose my sister, and he said it was by 1 minute. But we came out at that time. I guess Danny was the favorite on that day. I was told that my sister and I were not gonna make it in, that we were very sick. We both had seizures. My grandma told me that the doctors kept talking to my biological mother, that there's a church in the hospital to take us off oxygen and to let us pass. The doctors kept telling my biological mother we were not gonna make it and they're going to struggle through their entire life. My grandparents told me my biological dad came to the hospital and shook me and my sister until we stopped breathing. He was then put in handcuffs.
That's not true.
And went back to jail. My dad was a thief, a drug user, and spent most of his life in jail. My grandparents kidnapped me and my sister. From what I was told, my grandpa had done.
Hold on. Okay. So that part with my dad coming in shaking us, this was just something that I thought happened, but it didn't. I actually am going, so I'll say yes and no. So the dad shaking is not, I gotta cross it off. My mom told me my exact story. So when I continue this, basically we were very, very sick. My mom had me at 16, so did my dad. They did kidnap us. Okay, so there's that. My dad was a drug user and he went to jail. Okay, I'm going to continue.
Inside of his jacket, and my grandma had me inside her jacket.
True story.
And they left. DCFS found my grandparents.
True.
My grandparents took full custody of me and my sister
due
to having so many medical issues.
Tell you that
and with my biological mother being so young, my grandparents were not going to have my biological mother take full custody of me and my sister. Chapter 2: Finding Answers. My grandparents have been together since the age of 18. My grandma had her first child at 18. It was a girl. They named her Jennifer. I remember this day. I was in first grade and hearing all the other kids saying they're waiting for their moms to pick up them from school. And I asked my grandma why I don't have a mom, and if it was okay that I called my grandma mom. I remember I went to go visit my biological father in jail. He had an orange suit and my sister, and I were asking lots of questions, but everyone had a different story to tell us. I was always wondering what was the truth from my biological parents' standpoint. Nothing made any sense to me. My sister and I struggled in school with comprehension and learning skills, back and forth with private schools,
this is a rough
tutors,
draft.
homeschooling schools. My grandma, but I call mom now, was extremely frustrated and teaching us. My sister Tina, who is technically my aunt, she was a teacher and decided to help her, my sister and I. Tina then told mom that it was very difficult teaching my sister and I basic skills. She also stated that we would have to go on medication and that we weren't understanding basic skills. So then mom took us to a doctor where we got on the proper medication to help us. From what I was told by my mom, that it made us suicidal, and she took us off. We then had a lot of people come in and help us. We were made fun of, we were bullied. I remember in 4th grade someone told me if I had an extra chromosome. I remember going home and crying that day and telling my mother that I want to quit school. That's when she homeschooled us. My mom did absolutely everything to give us the best life ever. There was a theater called Sit in my 12 till the age of 18. It was one of the greatest experiences that I have ever had. It was a calling. Singing and dancing were something that made us happy. I tried to get my GED, and I failed. My dad always told me you can do nothing without a diploma, but it doesn't mean that you are not smart, or that you can't do things in life. My dad also told me that there's a lot of famous people out there that did not graduate high school, and look at what they are doing with their lives right now.
This is when I was 16 years old,
with my family.
and I was
in the car
very,
crying, and my mother asked me what's wrong.
And
I said, Mom, if I have any kids, are they gonna struggle? My mother said not all the time. I remember telling my mom, I want my kids to be proud of me. My mother told me they will, and to just love them and give them what they need. At the age of 19, I went to a doctor, and I got tested for ADHD. I was put on Adderall, and was diagnosed with severe ADHD. Ever since I was on that medication, I actually performed pretty well. I could focus. I went back to school to try to get my GED, but I still failed to give up, and I never went back. I still had jobs. I did tell them I did not graduate, and I still had a job. and I did pretty well for myself with not graduating. I took it upon myself to study. I took it upon myself to learn how to do math and grammar. I learned by your basic school
Just
knowledge
listen.
just so I could succeed in life. Chapter 3. My grandparents. My grandparents have 5 kids of their own, including me and my sister, which makes 7. My mom is the most amazing, soft-spoken woman who has a good heart, who has taught me how to love, very patient, how to be kind. And the most important thing is how to accept God as your Savior. We are Bible Baptist believers. My sister and I have grown up in a Baptist church, period. At the age of 12, I asked God to come to my heart to save me and make me a child of God. I was baptized by the pastor. Same thing with my sister. And we have been going to church ever since we were little. During all of this time, my biological dad was still in jail. He got out one time and came over to the house. I remember putting makeup on his face and laughing and taking a picture by the fireplace. A few years down the road, I got a box full of letters. It was hundreds of letters. When he was in jail, he wrote everything, all day, about how much he loved us. I still have these letters to this day. My grandpa always told me to save them to teach me how to function in day-to-day tasks. He taught me how to change a tire, how to change oil, in case I was single for my entire life. He always told me that
So this is my story from when I was born with my sister. And then it's going to get into TikTok with, Danny has those letters. So this is all based on true events. And in the beginning, it's my life and what happened. And then the rest of it is what happened with TikTok. Okay?
going to need to do things by myself if I don't have a man, and not to depend on a man, that I can do things by myself and be independent. My grandparents taught me a lot. I can't thank them enough. My grandparents also taught me how to drive. I came home with a book to study on how to drive, and I studied my brains out. I remember this day. My mom drove us so we could take the test at the DMV to get our license one time. My sister and I passed. I was so proud of myself. I thought I couldn't do it. I thought I would fail, but again I passed with flying colors, even though my sister and I got bullied so much it never stopped me from believing in me. My mom and dad wasn't the best relationship. Almost at the age of 60, they finally separated. My mother took me and my sister and found a place of our own. This was it, I would say. At the age of 22, we were there for a few months. And then my mom kicked us out, my sister and I wanted to do what we wanted to do.
Make
at
a
the
sticker?
age of
Okay.
23, my mom was not having it at the time. She met a man named Bobby, and Bobby lived in Florida, so my mom moved in with him. Chapter 4. Twin sisters finding their way. My sister and I got our first apartment by ourselves. My sister and I moved in with my dog Bella. I was a vet tech during those months. And one day we heard kittens meowing. Another vet tech that I worked with found them by dumpster. There is no mama to be seen. We took them and cleaned them up. I took 2 of them, and my coworker took 2 of them. We brought them home, and we named them Dolce and Gabbana. Dolce was Danny, and Gabbana with me, G for Gabbana, and D for Dolce. We stayed there for about a year. There was a karaoke bar that was down the street, something that my sister and I loved to do. We were there every weekend making friends, doing what we loved to do. It was time to move to a different apartment. Chapter 5. Finding my love of my life. When we got settled into the new apartment, I was with my boyfriend named Jesse, who I met on Plenty of Fish. I wasn't really attached to this guy. I thought he was gay because he wouldn't have sex. All he cared about was his gaming and his dog. So I was starting to move on from that relationship. Danielle had some friends that came over on Memorial Day. We had a party. I met a guy named Aaron. Aaron was at our party. Aaron couldn't take his eyes off me. The following weekend, it was our birthday, June 2nd, and my boyfriend took me to 6 Flags, and I did not have fun. Aaron and I were texting that day. Aaron was like, "Do you want me to come pick you up?" And I was like, "No." However, we came back home, and I made the decision on leaving Jesse. I was pretty broken, so I went to the bar. Aaron was there. I got up and I sang some songs, because it was karaoke. That night, Aaron made a comment to one of his friends, and he said, "I got to get that girl. She has the voice of an angel." That night, we went home together. I'll let your imagination run wild with what happened that night. I remember Danielle told Aaron, "If you mess with her emotions, or if you beat up on her, I'm coming after you." My sister has always been protective of me, because I have always been in an abusive relationship. Every guy that I was ever with hit me, beat me. I had concussions, I was beat down and bruised. My sister is always going to be there for you. Isn't that the truth? Aaron told my sister that he would never do that, and he would treat me like how I was supposed to be treated, word for a word, as a princess, or should I say as a queen. We had a rough week. Danielle was addicted to drugs, And it screwed us over on this place that we were living in. She left and I had no idea how to pay for it by myself. I was too much money. I was with Aaron just for a few months. He had a house that his mom gave him at the age of 16. And he's been living in that house ever since. But now he's at the age of 30. I asked him any advice or solutions to help me. And he told me to pack up and come live with him. So that's what I did. And it was on my record of not paying rent. Through all of this time, I still had my dog and 2 cats. I never let them go. Danny had a falling. She got the help she needed. And she went to rehab. She almost died because of using drugs. She then had no place to go. So Aaron told her she can live with us during all of this craziness. I did something to Aaron, and I had to pay the consequences for it. We were in the car, and he told me he doesn't want to marry me. I blacked out and I saw red. I took all of my anger that night and I beat him. He called the police. And I got arrested, spent 24 hours in a holding cell, got out and went back to him. We went to a hotel, and we had sex. And we were still together. Aaron forgave me, and I got the help I needed. I went into a crisis center, and I stayed there, and I got the help that I needed to be a better person. Aaron and I continue our relationship. There's ups and downs. There was a day that I felt off. I felt different. Chapter 6. The day I found out I was pregnant. I went to the store, and I told Aaron that I feel like I'm pregnant and I need to get a test. And Aaron was like, no way, you're pregnant. I told him, I'm just feeling like I am. We go home that day after getting the test. It was at 2 in the morning. I woke up, and I went out the bathroom, and I did the test. It was very, very light, very faint line, but I could tell that was positive. I was told by many doctors that I could never get pregnant because I have endometriosis, and it would be very hard to get pregnant. So even though I had a faint line, I still really didn't believe it. I took 20 pregnancy tests, and every day it got stronger and stronger and stronger till it finally said pregnant and showed it. I remember waking Aaron up and telling him that we were pregnant, and he looked over and he told me, I don't believe that, there's no way. Aaron told me to go see a doctor, so that morning I made an appointment. I went into that doctor's office. They did a blood test, and they did a urinalysis, and it came back. And the doctor wrote on a piece of paper saying that I'm going to be expecting a baby in December. I went back home and told Aaron. We both started to cry. We just couldn't believe it. We were still living in the house that Aaron was living in, but it wasn't ready for a baby. We had to find somewhere else to go. In the meantime, it was his mother and father's home. Aaron did not take care of the house. Boys will be boys. So here's a little bit about Aaron. He was adopted. His father died when he was 7 years old. His mom raised him when Aaron was 16. That is when his mom gave him the house and said, here, I'm gonna live with your aunt. She needs help. It was some type of family issues, so he had the house to himself. And the house was more like a party house instead of a house that a baby was going to be living in 9 months. And that's why we had to leave. I did talk to Aaron's mom about making the house nice, or flipping the house, or doing some kind of investment to making it a home for a child. That did not go well. Then on Thanksgiving Day, Aaron proposed to me. During all of this, we were trying to find a home, getting ready to have a baby in 9 months, and trying to get our wedding together. The wedding didn't really go so well, because it was so much money. We tried, but we didn't have enough. Things got too expensive, and we were running out of time, so we made a decision on holding the wedding off. He finally got a place. Chapter 7. The birth of my son. On December 8th, my son Cameron James Bradley was born December 8th at 8 a.m. It was the most beautiful thing I've ever witnessed, hearing my son cry.
Nice.
I had my son via C-section, and he was a breech baby. He's very stubborn. He did not want to flip.
I promise you I'm
remember
not
this
going to
day
cry.
So well, since it was a scheduled C-section, I did not want the baby to come out. I was in bed. I had to be at the hospital at 5:30 in the morning. Aaron was telling me, let's go. I pulled the comforter back over my head. I was like, I'm not going. He can stay in there a few more weeks. I was so scared of the spinal. I was having a panic attack. It took Aaron and my sister to drag me out of the house. I got to the hospital. I was crying in a panic attack mode. I get into a room. They get me all set up, and the doctor comes in. And the doctor goes, let's take a walk. So we walked around the hospital, and the doctor was telling me about his wife and how she was nervous, and how it's not gonna hurt. It's a little pension. The anesthesiologist is really good. So he calmed down my nerves. I remember walking into the operating room. I sat down on the table. They had a drape over my back, and they administered the spinal tap. I was like, that's it. And they said, yeah. I was like, oh, I'm good. I remember throwing up in the middle of my C-section, and Aaron was looking at me. I could tell he was really nervous. And then it took 5 minutes, and he was there. and Aaron was holding him.
No,
Love
that
at first
doctor was
sight.
amazing.
He was the most
I was so
beautiful baby
scared.
boy ever. He went home with a Mickey Mouse outfit on.
He
Mama
did.
did so good. I was walking after my C-section.
Sure did.
I'm a very strong woman. No one can break me. All the nurses told me to stop and sit down. Chapter 8, settling in a new home and a broken family in 6 months. We got all settled in. It was a great 6 months. Everything was going great until something happened with the apartment. There's a few ups and downs. Aaron left me one night. We had an argument. It wasn't really a big argument. It was just a small argument. But he took off. I had no idea. I begged him. I got on my hands and knees. And I said, please do not leave me. I had no job. He was young when I was making income, paying rent. Everything was in his name. I remember he just took everything in a box. He left nothing for me or Cam. I remember going to a church and asking for help. I got some donations to help pay the rent and pay the electrical bill. And come at bill. It helped for a month or two. I told the landlord what was going on. He understood. I still had my dog and 2 cats with me. It finally came that I had to give them up and move in my family. When Cameron went to bed that night, I got boxes and I packed the entire place by myself, and I moved with my biological mother, and I had to give my dog to my dad, and I found some people to find a homes for my cats. It was the hardest decision I could ever make.
It really
As a mom,
was.
you have to make hard choices,
Amen.
and that was a hard choice. Chapter 9, moving in with my biological mother. I get to my biological mother's house, get settled, and my stepdad was a Hispanic, and my biological mother and my stepfather has 3 kids of their own, half white, half Hispanic, and my Hispanic stepfather just didn't believe that we were a part of the family because we were white and we do not fit in.
Yeah, that's
I've
true.
always felt like my biological mother chose 3 kids over me and Danny. When I was living with my biological mother, I call her Lisa because I have a strong feeling that she just doesn't deserve to be called mom, and mother is a hard, rewarding job. And Lisa was never there. My mom was and will always be my grandma. She did everything for us, from feeding us, taking care of us, put clothes on us, teaching us how to walk, how to crawl, teaching us everyday life. And so I will always call my biological mother Lisa. And my half-siblings said, why don't you call her mom? And I said, because she was never a mom to me. She never did what a mom needs to do. And my half-siblings hated me for that. I asked my biological mother, Lisa, why didn't she fight to take me and Danny back?
I did write a
She
book.
told me
It's
that
a rough
she did,
draft, though.
but
I
Grandma wouldn't allow
gotta do
it.
some stuff
Who
to
knows
it.
if that's true or not? I've always had a question in the back of my mind. Why didn't she keep us? Why didn't she fight for us? I always told myself if I had a kid, I would never give up on him or her like my mom gave up on me. Chapter 10, vacation in FL Fort Myers and another move. My grandma called me that day.
You're
And I
gonna
cried
see
my
in
eyes
this
out. I was
story
scared,
what the
single
trolls have
mother.
done to me.
And I
Okay?
had no idea what was going to happen in the future. My mom told me to come down for vacation. She was living in Fort Myers, Florida. And I said yes. And I'll stay there for about a week or 2. It was a great vacation. My mom asked if I wanted to live with Lisa, my biological mother. And I said no, so then I made a decision on contacting another family member, which was Tina, who was my aunt, and I technically call her my sister. So I packed up and I moved, stay there for a month or 2. My sister Tina was very strict. She always told me she's not gonna have my son dictate your schedule. She told me how to feed my son, how to discipline my son, how to do this, how to do that. This is wrong. This is right way. I told my sister Tina that I am his mother. I will get to say what goes and what doesn't go. She did not like that. I packed up and moved to a hotel. Chapter 11, hotel stay. Aaron got back with me and he came to the hotel. I got a job. I was working from home. I had all my equipment with me.
I'm still
I was
working on a
to support
publisher.
Cameron. Aaron was with me, but he wasn't
Just
paying
wait till
child
it gets
support.
into
We were
being
talking in the hotel
cyberbullied.
about getting back together and that we would
Just
see where it
wait.
would go. The hotel got too expensive. Chapter 12, moved to another family. We had to go to another family member's house.
This
so me
is
and Cameron packed up
what I have
and
been through
moved
with my
Laura,
son.
another sister. Technically she's my aunt, but I call her my sister. It was a very small room. I carried my work equipment in. There was a mattress. It was like kind of like a basement by the garage. I was always really cold. So we can say that didn't really work out too much better because of Zach and Cameron fighting. It got so bad that my sister Laura told me it's not gonna work out. So then my mom said, Gabi, why don't you come live with me in Fort Myers, Florida? And I said, okay, Aaron. And I were still together. Aaron made
My
a
book's
promise
not
to me.
done, though.
He said he would fly down after his car got fixed. His motor went out and it was during COVID time. The parts were taking
We're in the
forever.
story right
and
now.
he just kept telling me, just go to your mom's and I will come down there when the car is ready. Chapter 13, the big move to Florida. My son
So
and
all
I
of
packed
you
up,
people
got on
that
a
are in my
plane,
live right
and
now,
I was
you
headed
guys
off
are
to
gonna
Fort
be in my
Myers,
book.
Florida. Every day I texted Aaron, when are you coming down here? Always reply, not right now. My car is not done. In the meantime, I was getting all settled and I still had my work from home job. I got it to be transferred from Illinois to Florida with no issues. My mom was not young. My mom had raised 7 kids. This was really hard on her, especially with what she had going on already. But as you can say, a mother's love will never go away. I had to find Cameron a school daycare to go to. I was trying to get insurance for him, insurance for me. Finally, my mom told me that the work from home job is too much and that I need to find a different job. So that's what I did. And I got a job as a vet tech. I found Cameron a daycare and I was putting him in there and I went to work. He started to bite and the behaviors were coming out. I lost my job because of Cameron being aggressive. I found another job. And then I found a lady who was going to watch Cameron for me while I went to work. It was going good for a couple months until one day I get a call telling me to come pick up Cameron because she can't do it. It's too hard. He's biting me. He's biting other kids. He's not sleeping. So I went to go pick him up and I came home, started to cry, telling my mom, why is this happening? What am I doing wrong? I got to the point where Aaron was not paying child support. I was coming up with many different excuses. And I got another
He
vet
was
tech
coming
job,
up with many
and
different
I found
excuses.
another person that was going to watch Cameron. And I said
Because of
one
his
more
car.
time, it was like a month or two, same thing. Again, biting and hitting. And she just told me it's not working out, so I lost that job. Aaron told me that he's not coming down to Florida, that he has a girlfriend that just broke me into pieces. Never have I thought
I
that he
was
would ever say that.
crying
So
at work.
now I'm a single mom. Cameron had over 15 to
I could
20
not
year
even, like,
infections
work.
over
That was
and
so
over
sad.
again. Just never went away. We saw his pediatrician. He said I need to go have ear tubes placed, so on
My
August
son to
9th
have
we
ear
scheduled
tubes,
him
not
for
me.
surgery. And I asked Aaron to come down to be there for me. And he did. He came down. I remember picking him up from the airport and telling Cameron, are you excited to go
What?
see Daddy?
Oxy.
And when he got in the car, he didn't know his dad. It was like a stranger. I was looking in the back seat. Aaron said him, Cameron, it's Daddy. It was like he never knew his dad. I was crying while driving back home to my mom's. Aaron was like, what's the matter? I told Aaron Cameron doesn't remember you, and Aaron says he will give him time. My mom texted me asking if Cameron remembered him. I said no. The next day, Cameron had surgery. Cameron did not want anything to do with Aaron. He didn't want to be by him, or nothing. Aaron was so heartbroken. He was angry, upset. He's like, then why did I come here? If my son won't even come to me, Aaron called his mom. His mom said it's because you haven't been there. He's not gonna know who you really
I
are.
fucking love
He's
you,
too
Kelly.
young.
I
It's
was
been me.
gonna ask
My
the
mom,
chat
all
if they
this
can help
time,
me.
When Aaron saw me, he fell
You
back
read
in
my
love with
mind.
me. He was still with his girlfriend. And he told his mom. And he said, with Mom, I'm thinking I'm falling back in love with Gabi. Aaron's mom said, do you what makes you happy? Aaron was still with a girlfriend and was telling me that he was not with her. And I caught him in a few
Somebody
different
go
lies until
screen
he
record
finally
that,
said,
please. That
okay,
just came
I'm
in.
done. He flew back to Chicago
Stormy.
and said,
If
I'll
that's
be
true,
waiting
I
for
need
you.
someone to go
And then
and screen
hurricane
record
hit. It
that
was pretty
live.
scary. We were out of power. We had to
Thank
store
you.
all of our food in a cooler and keep it
Remember
as
to
cold as possible.
screenshot
We had
the
to go out to our cars to charge our phones. No TV, no nothing, just a
like the
lot
app.
of wind and water after it was over. The airports were slammed. My mom drove 3 hours to an airport just to take me and Cameron there so we could get back to Chicago. When my mom dropped me off at the airport after being with her for 1 year, it was another very difficult moment in my life. I had to do. Cameron loves my mom so much. He was so happy there. But I knew what I had to do, because it wasn't fair to my mom at her age. It wasn't her responsibility, and I wasn't gonna give up Cameron. Chapter 14, moving back to Illinois, was that last hug at the airport. My mom was in tears, I was in tears, and Cameron was little. And he had no idea what was going on. We get onto the airplane and take off to Chicago. We land safely and Aaron was there to pick us up. We went to Anthony's place. But it wasn't the best situation. I had a lot of anxiety attacks, just how it was set up. And then we went to Danielle's house. We stayed there for about a month. Things were going good for the first few days. And Danielle kicked us out at 12 o'clock in the morning. Lots of ups and downs with that. We went to live with Brian, Aaron's friend. We stayed there for a couple months. But then Cameron was starting to yell and scream during the night, and Brian was living with his twin brother. And his twin brother worked third shift, so Brian told me it's not working out because of the baby crying and screaming. And he's not get enough sleep, so he said, we have to leave. During that entire time, I had a job that's working from home still. I was looking at shelters. I was looking at apartments and houses with private landlords, and nothing was happening. A realtor told me everything was getting
Yes,
denied.
I
And we
will,
went to
Danny.
go
It's a
look
rough
in so many
draft.
different places,
But yes, I will leave
nothing
you
was
out.
happening for us. We
I will
finally
come up
had
with
to
a
go
different
to
name
live
for
in
you.
a hotel. We stayed there for a few months.
I have to redo
And
it,
then we were
but I
trying to
got your
figure out
text
what our next
message.
move was gonna be.
All
I was
of
still
my
working from home.
names in my
Chapter
book,
16, we got a
including
place.
our family,
We
is
finally
going to
got
be
an answer
different
to this one
names.
place. It was the same
It's just a
place
rough
that we lived
draft,
in
Danny,
where
but
we
yes,
brought
I do
Cameron
respect
home from the
that.
hospital. It was the exact same apartment in the same complex. And my sister is the one that found it. We were messaging him on Facebook Messenger. He didn't want any credit check. He didn't want any background check. He just said, here, it's yours, take it. It was a 1 bedroom, 1 bath. It was good for right now. It was a place that Cameron could call home. And so this day, I still have not gave up on my son Cameron. We get settled in our new home. It was around Christmas time. I was so happy that we could celebrate Christmas. I have a place that I can call home. I am still working at home that month, November 28th, 2022. We moved in, and it was the best Christmas and birthday ever. Cameron got to spend it with his dad.
Okay, wait,
and
I gotta pause
Chapter
this.
17,
Hold on.
The fear of the unknown as a
Okay,
mom.
chapter 17.
Cameron
Hold
was
on.
starting to have
Hold
lots
on.
of behavior.
Pause. Wait, I got chapter 17. Hold on. I want you to listen to me. This was just a rough draft. I talked to mom about the birth story and about if I'm going to have my mom look at the childhood and what I wrote and make sure that that's right and not whatever. But for you, I thought you did go to rehab, so I will take that out. I was going to reach out to you before I even published this book. This needs to be edited so much. There's so much that I have to take out. I am putting every name that you're hearing right now, and I'm putting in fake names. So no one in the chat, like even like the trolls, are gonna be different names. And so I promise. Okay, well then I will take it out if you want me to. That's fine. If you want me to take it out, I will. I will take it out completely. I'm sure she would want to be left out. Okay, so do you want, like, I need to talk to you, Danny, because this is our childhood and we're twins. And so I will put a different name for you, but I will go over it with you, and I can take out things that you don't want me to say. We can go over that if you would like to, but you're going to have to work with me, Danny. Please, as my sister. Because Danny, what this book is basically to help other people. It's a book to help maybe a person like you, Danny, that were, on rugs and you got the help. And it's a message to help other people look in and be more related to the story. But if you don't want it in there, can we just talk about it later? I could. Yeah, I gotta talk to my sister about this. Because it's been. Yeah. Danny, I'll talk to you with mom. Okay? We'll figure it out. Just let me explain before you say no. I will work with you though. No, I know. I know it's my biography. That's why I gotta talk to people. Like, hold on, give me a second. Well, Danny has already said this on her live, so it's not like this is new. She already has talked about all of this, so it's not like this was never outed. Hold on. I mean, I don't really know the rules about this, if I can just do what I want to do. I mean, I don't know. I got to really look into this, and I really can't. Danny, let me just talk to you, please. Don't start drama on my chat. Just, it's nothing bad. It's. All right, here we go.
Chapter 17, The Fear of the Unknown as a Mom. Cameron was starting to have lots of behavioral issues that we started to notice around November right before we moved into this apartment, biting, hitting, yelling, and getting frustrated. Aaron and I had no idea
Okay,
why
so
he
then
was
I
acting
will
like
get
this.
her
We
completely
tried
out of the book
everything.
then.
I finally reached out to early intervention, and I asked them if they can come over, and they can assess and see what their thoughts are as therapists. They diagnosed him
She would
with
have
a
to
sensory
sign
issue,
something.
regulation
Then,
issue,
Danny, we would
transitioning
have to
issue,
sign
and
something
speech.
then.
We were setting up a time for him to start therapy. We went to see his pediatrician.
I know, Jen,
and told
and
him what is
okay,
going on with
I gotta
Cameron.
pause
She
again.
mentioned if they diagnosed him
Hold
with
on.
autism. And I said no, his pediatrician
Okay, I'm gonna turn off the comments because I'm not gonna fight. This is my live. I'm sorry. Okay. This is my autobiography. Yeah, you're right, Jen. She did tell me she didn't want to be in this book. Well, I have been trying my hardest to reach out to my sister to get that relationship fixed and talk to her about this book. And if she does not want to be in it, then we can go to the courthouse and we can take care of it with my family. But this is my family and I'm going to do what I'm going to do. And Danny, I will respect you, but I'm asking you to call me and we can talk about it with Mom. And if you still do not want to be in the book, then I'm gonna have to have you sign something. Okay? Okay. So let's just continue. Oh my God. And like I said, this is a rough draft. It is not finished. No one's getting my box. I'm not gonna do this. This is my life. This is my autobiography. This is my life, my family. Danny can talk to Mom. Come on. And respectfully, Danny has done some really bad things. I don't really want to talk about that, but let's not sit here and say, oh, Danny's the perfect person because she's never talked bad about Cameron, Aaron, and Gabi. So come on, Danny. I don't want to fight with you, but let's be so for real right now. I've asked you not to speak about me or my son or Aaron, and you do it. And you do things that are not okay. So let's stop. It's okay for you, but not for me. Got it.
Cameron was starting to have lots of behavioral issues that we started to notice around November right before we moved into this apartment, biting, hitting, yelling, and getting frustrated. Aaron and I had no idea why he was acting like this. We tried everything. I finally reached out to early intervention, and I asked them if they can come over, and they can assess and see what their thoughts are as therapists. They diagnosed him with a sensory issue, regulation issue, transitioning issue, and speech. We were setting up a time for him to start therapy. We went to see his pediatrician and told them what is going on with Cameron. She mentioned if they diagnosed him with autism. And I said no, his pediatrician wanted him to get tested for autism. I made an appointment, went to the facility, did what they asked me to do. Cameron got tested. The results came back to the doctor. The doctor diagnosed him with autism on severe side at that moment. I was just shocked and broke down in tears, wondering if I did anything to cause that. I had a lot of mom guilt. However, we started therapy. And we started just to help him. His biting and his aggression, his nonverbal was getting worse and worse to the point where he was breaking skin. He would bite me so hard that it would pierce through my skin. I knew that I couldn't be mad at him after what he's been through with me. I didn't have the heart to do anything as far as discipline. I knew that he was struggling, and I knew that I had to help him because I struggled when I was a little girl. I felt like my grandparents didn't understand me. And I did not want my parenting to be like that, and I went a different route. Instead of discipline, I asked God to give me the strength and the patience to help my son. A lot of people would probably have done some things, especially with the biting, the hitting, but not me. Instead, I got down on my knees, and I told my son it's going to be okay, and that mommy loves him, and mommy is right here, and tell him that he was safe. I was raised that in the Bible is a spare the rod. But I went a different route. Chapter 18, The Sickness. It all started in March when Cameron and I were getting sick. It started with me first. I was getting headaches every single day. I was working from home, so I was in front of a computer. So I was thinking maybe it's the straining of looking in the computer for hours. So I ordered some glasses to help and seeing if that would help. And it did. It was so bad I went to ERs to get the cocktail. Cause of migraines. They wouldn't go away, and my son was getting sick, upper respiratory, GI ear infections, runny nose, flu, you name it, he had it. We were just getting sick, me and him. Finally went to the neurologist. I got put on a shot, but I'm still taking to this day. And I had to get an MRI to see if there was a mass on my brain. Turns out there wasn't. I went to go see Cameron's pediatrician. And I'm like, I don't know. And so the pediatrician was like, do you have mold in your apartment? And I had no idea about mold. What it can do to you or to your body. So the pediatrician was like, I want you to go search for it. I had a family who had no idea about mold, and they got very sick because of it. It was the same symptoms as Cameron. I said, okay, so we were going out one day, and we came home, and boom. I'm talking about rashes and hives all over his body, face, back, legs, arms, and belly. The doctors thought it was allergic reaction. It went away without Benadryl. It was the most craziest thing ever we had experienced. We brought them Abba, and it appeared. I was starting to get the rash, and we're like, what's happening? The doctors had no idea. They were just thinking, maybe he touched something. They asked me if it was detergent, if I changed something in the routine that would make him break out like that. I said no. Finally found an area of mold in the apartment, and I showed pictures to his pediatrician, and she confirmed that it was mold. She told me that she would write a letter to the complex to tell them to fix it for the health of Cameron Bradley, and to get them a new housing because it was not safe for Cameron. I emailed the apartment complex with everything that they gave me from Cameron's doctor. They did not do anything. They ignored it. I eventually had to get a lawyer. It took a few months. My son and I were so sick that we had to go to a hotel because they were not fixing it, and my son and I were getting sicker by the day. I have asthma. My lungs are undeveloped. I have a lot of lung issues during this time, lots of breathing treatments, steroids, allergy medications. During the hotel stay, we were trying to figure out when we could move into a new apartment. The leasing agent just kept making excuses. She actually said that there was a guy who came in to test the mold in my apartment. Turns out that was a lie. There was never a guy that went there and tested for mold. I kept asking for test results, and she's like, it's not here yet. I'm like, well, it's been weeks. I'm sorry, it's not in right now. The leasing agent told me that the guy told her it wasn't mold. Turns out that was all a lie. And then we finally got an answer that our apartment was ready, so we moved everything that night. It was going pretty good for the first 1 to 2 months. And then me and him got sick again. Aaron said, oh my, not again. I'm said, yeah, and then headaches, throwing up, rashes, GI, strep, flu, and upper respiratory. Every couple weeks it was always something. It was never ending. However, we were healthy for a few months until the symptoms started back up again. I brought my son to a pulmonologist. They diagnosed him with asthma. I got a test performed. The results came back, and it said mold in the air, spores in there. That's what was making us sick. And the test came back with 4 different mold types: Aspergillum and Penicillium asbestos and Cladosporium. I saw a pulmonologist, and they sent me to an ENT. They did a procedure where they had to go through my nose down the back of my throat to try and figure out what was going on. It was all upper respiratory. I had a raspy voice, and I was sick, and they diagnosed me with a vocal cord issue and a very bad sinus infection. Horrible. Cameron, I just got worse and worse, same thing over and over again: wheezing, coughing, runny nose, breaking out in hives and rashes. It was just a cycle that would never stop. DR after doctor after yar after yar. I was exhausted trying to deal with Cameron's behavior on top of him being sick and me being sick. I was still getting headaches. And then we paid some professional to come in to test the air from the outside to the inside, and the walls from the hallway. Turns out there's
I don't know
mold in
what
the
I'm doing
hallway.
here.
The lab is
Dang it, I
recommending
messed up.
remediation. I called the health department. I've called the village, the fire department, you name it.
Whatever.
I've called everyone, and it was like they were laughing in my face. They thought it was a joke. I told myself, I'm not giving up on this, and I'm gonna fight until the day I die. Until chapter 19, the bad news we did not want to hear. The last 2 months we were not gonna pay rent. They weren't going to fix it. We got a letter from a random guy that they were not going to evict us as long as we left by November 13th. They would not evict us. On November 28th, a week later, I get an eviction notice. We went to court. Unfortunately, I had no lawyer cause I couldn't pay for one, and so the leasing office won the case. I had plenty of documentation, and I still lost, but I kept pushing, and I told myself, I'm not gonna give up. I got a lawyer for the settlement.
Tap
for the
that screen,
damages
guys, for me,
and the
please.
suffering for the medical bills, for the medical expenses and medications. Chapter 20, cyberbullied on social
You're gonna
media.
have to
There's
really
an app called TikTok during this whole
tap that
process.
screen.
I have been live blogging blogging my life about it for 8 months during that whole year. I've been bullied on that app with my twin sister, who also has an account on that app, has also been bullied, actually more like cyberbullying. I've lost my job because of TikTok. They have called my jobs, they called my sister's jobs, they've called DCFS. There's 70 reports. They have tore my life down into pieces. At least they're trying to. But I keep telling myself I'm gonna keep doing what I'm doing. And not going to give up. Why? Because I'm a fighter. I would say more like I'm a champion. Someone in my chat, when I was live one day on TikTok,
Okay,
someone
thanks,
mentioned
Emmy.
about a let them tattoo, and how it spoke to me. And I went that day, and got a tattoo, on my forearm that said, let them. And that tattoo means a lot of different reasons. During all of this, I had a lot of female problems, and I had to have surgery. I would say probably 3 surgeries in the whole year of having to deal with all of this that's going on. Aaron and I were fighting and arguing a lot. It was definitely a roller coaster. We got my son into early interventions to start some therapy for my son Cameron. My son was doing pretty well. With having early interventions, coming into work with him, I could see some progress. I was working with him so hard, and every day he got better and better. I knew as a mom what I had to do. I felt like everything was going downhill faster than I can stop it. When it rains, it pours, right? That didn't stop me. I kept pushing and pushing. I have fallen so many times, but I get right back up, just like that Carrie Underwood Champion song. They knocked me down, but I get right back up. And I've been praying every day, asking God to fight this battle. Our neighbor downstairs had a dog, and Cameron was so gentle with the dog. Something just spoke to me about getting a dog for Cameron and making it a service dog. There was a lady on TikTok who lied to me about a puppy. She sent pictures of puppies that were not real. It was fake. She led me and Aaron to believe her. Aaron drove hours to see the puppy. Turns out there was no puppy, and she lied. I was broken because I really wanted this for Cameron. But that didn't stop me. Chapter 20, getting our Coco. We were so broken since the lady lied to us about the puppies, and we had everything prepared for these puppies to come home. And Cameron was super excited because I mentioned about it to him, so I was not going to stop until we got a puppy for my son. On June 23rd, 2023, there's a rescue that we went to that morning. We went to the rescue, and we were hoping that we would be able to get the dog, and we saw her in the cage, and it was just the right moment. We took her out. We went into a little playpen. Cameron fell in love, and we knew.
Now this is where the cyberbullying comes in.
For my son, we got everything ready to bring her home, and we named her Coco, and she is the best thing for my son. I wanted to get her trained as an emotional support dog and a service dog, but I had this company that was going to work with me, and I thought I got approved. It was looking really good. I got accepted through the second round of the application, and then I got an email after 2, maybe 3 months, and I got denied. Chapter 21, the battlefield of trying to financially survive. During all of this, after this, Cameron was biting babysitters. I was working as a waitress. It was too hard. We weren't even making ends meet. Aaron told me to stay home, and he would work even if we got denied for the service dog. That didn't stop me from not trying. When money got really tight, I started doing TikTok battles. I have a really good support team. I wouldn't say they were my TikTok fans, I would say they're family. I didn't really have family. I don't have any friends. What I had was a TikTok that was my outlet.
Aww.
Chapter 19, learning how to let them. The bullies have called the police on me several times for no reason at all, just because they hate me, and they're obsessed with me, and they wanted me dead. At least that's how I felt. If you asked me,
True.
What did I do to make them do this to me? I'm gonna be completely honest.
I don't know.
The only thing that I can think of is jealousy. Or maybe envy. I'm a singer, I'm a dancer, I can do the splits. I'm 31 years old, maybe that's why they're jealous. I don't know, but it doesn't really matter, does it? I just kept pushing through. There was 2 people that would always come and help me. Emily and Anthony, Danielle, and I had a rough patch.
Just listen, it gets better.
It was a lot of hate back and forth with my chat and in her chat. And a lot of drama started up. People made us hate each other. And then we got back to loving each other again, like sistership. With the back and forth, it was a battle and a fight. This day I started to think to myself, why give the haters what they want? All they want is a reaction. And I just told myself, who cares? Let them talk. Let them say what they want to say, and let them make videos. Let them do whatever, and not even give them the satisfaction that I cared. Even though I was trying to learn to let them theory, when everyone would just come in my chat or my room, it would be hard just to let them when they would come and attack you every second. But I'm still working on that till this day. Chapter 20, eviction. Trying to figure out where we were gonna go, as everything that was happening. We were still trying to figure out where we were going to go. We were still looking for hotels. We were still looking for places. But we were running out of time. Chapter 21, getting ready for the trip to Florida.
It's not done. We're still in the story right now.
This is where
You guys are all in the story right now. The story's not over.
And that were obsessed with me. I got screen recordings and screenshots that they were going to stop me from getting on the airplane.
Hold on,
I
hold on,
remember
hold
having
on.
Maud Carla talking to me
Hold
and
on.
about calling the Spirit Airlines and having
I'm not going to tell you what it is. But I want you to guess what the ending is going to be. Okay?
security know about what was going on because I had a child with me and I was going to be
I don't
alone,
have an
so
editor right
I was
now.
scared that something was going to happen. Meanwhile, during all of this that was going on, I had multiple usernames coming in with profile pictures of my stepdad named Bobby, and it said, "Hello granddaughter, I'm going to pick you up at the airport. See you soon." Had my supporters are the ones that are getting me through my hardship. If it wasn't for them, I
Go
don't
ahead,
know where
guess.
I would be to this day. It might sound foolish to you thinking TikTok with my outlet, but I have no family. I have no friends. I was a mom who had a special needs child and didn't know where to turn to. However, in the whole process of everything, it is coming to an end. In the process, we are still trying to find a place. Chapter 22 Hotel.
Before you guess, listen to the whole story.
Hotel. It's a beautiful hotel for me, Cameron, and Aaron for just 2 weeks. Then the last week before Christmas, we're going to Florida to spend it with my mom. What a way to end the year. Till then, this is just the beginning of it. Chapter 24 Packing up and leaving. It was on December 6th when we finally moved out of our apartment and got into a hotel. I was the one that was packing that day by myself, Aaron. And I had an argument. Aaron went to the hotel and he was chilling and resting while I had the baby and I had to pack everything.
I was
In
so
the meantime,
pissed.
I had 2 animals that I had to get rid of or find homes for them. One was Rex, my bearded dragon, and the other was a 30-gallon tank. I was trying to find homes for my bearded dragon and fish. I even was trying to sell them on Facebook Marketplace. I was even trying to sell them on TikTok, but I got no luck. And then Emily said she would take Rex, but then their relationship got in the way. And then that was no help for Rex. And then my sister said she would take Rex. And then something happened with Enzo. And then she said she couldn't take Rex. And then it was down to just a couple days. And we really had no other options but to surrender it to PetSmart. But we called PetSmart and they said that if it's past 2 weeks by the day that you purchased him, they cannot take back the bearded dragon. So then on December 6th, 2023, we just moved.
No, it died. It died. Oh, fuck my life. I thought it was charging. Oh, damn it. Where the fuck is the charger? Damn it. Fuck. Damn it. Hold on, guys. We have technical difficulties. Where's the charger? Hold on, guys. Be right back. Let's try this. Hold on. It's because I have it in a different outlet. Hold on. Hold on. Not charging. Why is it not charging? There. Not charging. Hold on, you guys. Hold on. It was just getting good. Hold on. Hold on. Oh, stop. Hold on. Ah, it was just getting good. Have you played the book? What do you mean played the book? Hold on, you guys. We'll get into it. Just give me a second. Let it charge. What do you mean? guys. I'm trying to charge this thing. In the meantime, we're gonna color. I'm gonna finish this. I don't know why it's not charging. It was just getting good too. Shit. Hold on. Come on, charger. Work. Hold on, you guys. I'm gonna have to go get outside of my car and go get a new charger. Hands up. Why is it not charging? Damn it. Hold on, guys. We're back. Is it charging still or no? Hold on, give me a second. Okay, let me. There now. Hold on, guys. Give me a second. Hold on. Okay, give me. Come on, dude. Oh my god, it was just getting fucking good too. Damn it. Hold on. I'm gonna play it. I wonder if I have another plug that works. Okay, try this. Come on, Gabi. Come on, work. Come on. Why is it not fucking working? Let's try this. Okay, so now it's working. Hey, what's up? Okay, now it's working. See, now it's turning on. Ha 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 ha. I did wrote that wrong. Okay. We're gonna have to wait because it might die. Okay, is it just me or do people usually throw away ones that don't work? Hold on a second. Okay, where were we? Fuck. Where were we? Cyber. No. Okay, here, chapter 19. Chapter 19.
Chapter 19, the bad news we did not want to hear. The last 2 months we were not gonna pay rent. They weren't going to fix it. We got a letter from a random guy that they were not going to evict us as long as we left by November 13th. They would not evict us. On November 28th, a week later, I get an eviction notice. We went to court. Unfortunately, I had no lawyer cause I couldn't pay for one, and so the leasing office won the case. I had plenty of documentation, and I still lost, but I kept pushing, and I told myself, I'm not gonna give up. I got a lawyer for the settlement, for the damages, for the pain and the suffering, for the medical bills, for the medical expenses and medications. Chapter 20, cyberbullied on social media. There's an app called TikTok. During this whole process, I have been live blogging my life about it for 8 months. During that whole year, I've been bullied on that app with my twin sister, who also has an account on that app, has also been bullied. Actually more like cyberbullying. I've lost my job because of TikTok. They have called my jobs, they called my sister's jobs, they've called DCFS, there's 70 reports. They have tore my life down into pieces. At least they're trying to. But I keep telling myself, I'm gonna keep doing what I'm doing, and not going to give up. Why? Because I'm a fighter. I would say more like I'm a champion. Someone in my chat when I was live one day on TikTok, someone mentioned about a let them tattoo, and how it spoke to me. And I went that day, and got a tattoo, on my forearm that said, let them. And that tattoo means a lot of different reasons. During all of this, I had a lot of female problems, and I had to have surgery. I would say probably 3 surgeries in the whole year of having to deal with all of this that's going on.
It might die, but we'll see how this goes.
And arguing a lot. It was definitely a roller coaster. We got my son into early interventions to start some therapy for my son, Cameron. My son was doing pretty well. With having early interventions, coming into work with him, I could see some progress. I was working with him so hard, and every day he got better and better. I knew as a mom what I had to do. I like everything was going downhill faster than I can stop it. When it rains, it pours, right? That didn't stop me. I kept pushing and pushing. I have fallen so many times, but I get right back up, just like that Carrie Underwood champion song, they knocked me down, but I get right back up. And I've been praying every day, asking God to fight this battle. Our neighbor downstairs had a dog, and Cameron was so gentle with the dog. Something just spoke to me about getting a dog for Cameron and making it a service dog. There was a lady on TikTok who lied to me about a puppy. She sent pictures of puppies that were not real. It was fake. She led me and Aaron to believe her. Aaron drove hours to see the puppy. Turns out there was no puppy, and she lied. I was broken because I really wanted this for Cameron, but that didn't stop me. Chapter 20, getting our Coco. We were so broken since the lady lied to us about the puppies, and we had everything prepared for these puppies to come home. And Cameron was super excited because I mentioned about it to him, so I was not going to stop until we got a puppy for my son. On June 23rd, 2023, there's a rescue that we went to that morning. We went to the rescue, and we were hoping that we would be able to get the dog, and we saw her in the cage, and it was just the right moment. We took her out. We went into a little playpen. Cameron fell in love, and we knew in that moment she would be a good fit for our family and for my son. We got everything ready to bring her home, and we named her Coco, and she is the best thing for my son. I wanted to get her trained as an emotional support dog and a service dog, but I had this company that was going to work with me, and I thought I got approved. It was looking really good. I got accepted through the second round of the application. And then I got an email after 2, maybe 3 months, and I got denied. Chapter 21, the battlefield of trying to financially survive. During all of this, after this, Cameron was biting babysitters. I was working as a waitress. It was too hard. We weren't even making ends meet. Aaron told me to stay home, and he would work even if we got denied for the service dog. That didn't stop me from not trying. When money got really tight, I started doing TikTok battles. I have a really good support team. I wouldn't say they were my TikTok fans. I would say they're
So the
family.
reason why I'm
I do
playing
really have
this
family. I
is
don't
because,
have
yes,
friends
I'm going
who
to put it
have
out there for
TikTok
people
that
that
would help.
really don't
Chapter
know
19,
about it, and
help
there's
them.
millions of
Police have
people,
called the
right?
police on me several
So
times for no
this is
reason, and all just
basically
because they hate me,
just,
and they're
I
obsessed with
want
me,
this to
and
be
they wanted
out
me dead.
every
At
day.
least
I
that's how
could
I
play
felt
this
if you asked
every
me.
day
What did I do
because
to
it's
make
not
them do
about
this to
just
me? I'm
me.
gonna
It's
be
about
completely
spreading
honest. I
awareness,
don't
and
know.
this is my
The
story
only
and what
thing
they did
that
to
I
my
can think
family.
of is jealousy. Or maybe envy. I'm a singer, I'm a dancer, I can do the splits at 31 years old. Maybe that's why they're jealous. I don't know, but it doesn't really matter, does it? I just kept pushing through. There was 2 people that would always come and help me. Emily and Anthony, Danielle, and I had our rough patches, especially with TikTok. It was a lot
I
of
am
being
going to
back and
publish it.
forth with
Yes,
my
it's not
chat
done
and in her
though.
chat. And a lot of
We're still
drama
in the
started up.
story,
People
you
made us
guys,
hate each other.
right
And
now
then
with
we got back
TikTok
to
in this
loving each
battle.
other again, like sistership.
We're
With the
still
back and
in the
forth, it was a
story. It's
battle
not
and
over
a
yet.
fight. This day I started to think to myself, why give the haters what they want? All they want is a reaction. And I just told myself, who cares? Let them
Somebody
talk.
told me
Let them
to
say
write an
what they want to say.
autobiography
And
or a
let them make
book.
videos. Let them do whatever. And not even give them the satisfaction that I cared. Even though I was trying to learn to let them theory when everyone would just come in my chat or my room. It would be hard just to let them when they would come and attack you every second. But I'm still working on that till this day. Chapter 20, eviction. Trying to figure out where we were gonna go, as everything that was happening. We were still trying to figure out where we were going to go. We were still looking for a hotels. We were still looking for places. But we were running out of time. Chapter 21, getting ready for the trip to Florida, with the bullies attacking our every move. This is where it gets crazy, because I had so many people that hated me, and that were obsessed with me. I got screen recordings and screenshots that they were going to stop me from getting
Now
on the
listen
airplane.
to
I
the rest
remember
of this
having Ahmad
book,
Carla talking
because
to
this
me,
is
and about
where
calling the
this
Spirit
gets bad.
Airlines and having security know about what was going on, because I had a child with me, and I was going to be alone, so was scared that something was gonna happen. Meanwhile, during all of this that was going on, I had multiple usernames coming in with profile pictures of my stepdad named Bobby. And it said, hello granddaughter, I'm going to pick you up at the airport. See you soon. Had my supporters are the ones that are getting me through my hardship. If it wasn't for them, I don't know where I would be to this day. It might sound foolish to you thinking TikTok was my outlet, but I have no family. I have no friends. I was a mom who had a special needs child and didn't know where to turn to. However, in the whole process of everything, it is coming to an end. In the process, we are still trying to find a place. Chapter 22, hotel agent. We finally found a hotel. It's a beautiful hotel for me, Cameron, and Aaron for 2 just weeks. Then the last week before Christmas, we are going to Florida to spend it with my mom. What a way to end the year. Till then, this is just the beginning of it. Chapter 24, packing up and leaving. It was on December 6th when we finally moved out of our apartment and got into a hotel. I was the one that was packing that day by myself, Aaron and I had an argument. Aaron went to the hotel, and he was chilling and resting, while I had the baby, and I had to pack everything. In the meantime, I had 2 animals that I had to get rid of or find homes for them. One was Rex, my bearded dragon, and the other was a 30-gallon tank. I was trying to find homes for my bearded dragon and fish. I even was trying to sell them on Facebook Marketplace. I was even trying to sell them on TikTok, but I got no luck. And then Emily said she would take Rex, but then their relationship got in the way. And then that was no help for Rex. And then my sister said she would take Rex. And then something happened with Enzo. And then she said she couldn't take Rex. And then it was down to just a couple days. And we really had no other options but to surrender it to PetSmart. But we called PetSmart and they said that if it's past 2 weeks by the day that you purchased him, they cannot take back the bearded dragon. So then on December 6th, 2023, we just moved into the new hotel. I was calling the hotel to see if we could keep the 2 pets while I was trying to look for homes for them. But the hotel said no. I told Aaron to go back there with Anthony to clean up the rest of the stuff, while I stayed at the hotel with Cam and unpacking all of our stuff. And I asked Aaron to make sure that bearded dragon was taken care of for the night and the fish. And then I contacted the leasing office and telling them that we were gonna keep them there for 1 day. And then we would go back the following day, still trying to figure out homes for them. The leasing office said, that's fine. We finally got an answer to Aaron's cousin who was going to take Rex that night, so thank God. We didn't have to keep them there overnight. Anthony and Aaron went back to get Rex.
Hey, supporters and mods, you guys can answer questions if they have the questions that you know. You guys can answer them.
Had a place. That night, Aaron and I got into an argument, and I went to my car and got on TikTok. I was crying, screaming, and was venting about it. TikTok calmed me down. And then I finally went back into the hotel. I saw Cameron sleeping, and then Aaron was looking at me. And then I was looking at him. It was very silent that night. Chapter 25, my son's 3rd birthday. On December 7th, my mom just got there. We all got ready, and we went to Cheesecake Factory. If you're ever in Chicago, you should definitely stop by and try that. They have the best cheesecake. I used to work there. I was a waitress. Zach was there. Cameron was so happy that he got to spend his birthday weekend with his favorite cousin. I could see that it was going to be the most amazing birthday that he could ever have, just being with his family and his cousin Zach. We then went home. I want to do something special for my son's birthday because of living at the hotel. The next morning, it was his birthday, my son's birthday. He was turning 3, so that night I told Aaron we should do something cute for when he would wake up. So Aaron went to the store. I was on TikTok Live. Aaron got a box on TikTok Live, and we were all trying to help him pick out stuff for my son's birthday. I asked Anthony if he could come and help us, and so Anthony and I stayed up all night decorating while Aaron slept.
I sure
he always
did.
Gets to sleep. Mama always gets to do the hard work. Sometimes I wish I was a guy. When my son woke up, he was kind of crabby. He wasn't really wanting to get up. My mom came in the room. I was trying to wake Cameron up. I remember that Aaron got this Paw Patrol piñata, and it was right next to him on the nightstand, waiting for Cameron to wake up, and Chase was right there. Cameron really did not want to wake up. He kept falling back asleep. We finally got him up. When he saw the hotel room, he smiled. It was the cutest, most beautiful thing. Mama felt good that day. Just seeing a smile on my son's face just melted my heart. It was all worth those hours of being awake just for my baby boy. That day we all got ready and went to Red Robin, where we had to eat lunch with the family, and then went to Build-A-Bear and got Cameron a stuffed Paw Patrol animal. And then we all came back to the hotel. I got a call from a CPS caseworker mentioning about a drug test that they wanted us to take. I remember telling the CPS worker, that's fine. When do you want us to take it? He told me that he would email me a form, and I would have to take that form to take to their clinic. Mind you, there was never an open case. This was all due to internet bullies. However, I knew my innocence and I complied with them. I told my mom when I got off the phone with CPS. My mom was upset. She wanted the numbers. She called them. She spoke to the supervisor, explained that she raised 5 kids. She has 14 grandchildren. She just came in from Florida to celebrate her grandson's birthday. That this is unacceptable. That this is just internet bullies. And what they're doing to me is horrible. And she got very upset and very angry, and the supervisor apologized and said, don't worry about it. We will skip on this. I'm like, go mom. Anyway, we got ready. And then we went to Colonial Cafe. We also met Aaron's mom and aunt there, so I can celebrate our son's birthday. It was a great night.
No, I need help. But I'm just, oh my God. Can someone talk? Oh my God, whatever. I know it's not.
Way to end the night. My mom took my phone, and they went to go look at Christmas lights. Well, Aaron and I went to go get Cameron's birthday cake. We all went home.
Okay, just. Fucking dead again. Okay, what are your questions? What are your questions? Hold on. It needs to charge because it's going on 1% and it's just dying. What's your question? Who is publishing your book? I don't know. I got to find one. What? I asked what job the haters made you lose. Okay, so what job? The gymnastics. So I worked I was a gymnastics coach. And they found out, they called and said that I was videotaping girls while they were in class. My phone is in the locker, but it is where it is. So I got pulled into the office and just said, da-da-da-da. And then we have to investigate this because they have cameras. And I left. I had to leave the premises. And then they called me back and they apologized and they said, we're sorry, and explained I'm getting bullied and all of this. And they offered me the job back, but I said no. I do not have a publisher. I need to find one. I was let go. So, I guess whatever you want to say, in a sense. Because it was a couple of weeks that they were investigating, so. Well, I did get fired. I got let go. I had to get all my stuff, and I had to leave the premises. To me, that's termination. Yeah, I got my job back. That's when they investigated after weeks. I can see why you're saying I didn't get fired, but to me, I did. I got let go. I don't know how else I would describe that. Does that make sense? I don't know how else I could put that into words. I don't know if I said fired, but I have to read. There's things I have to take out and stuff. I was just using my microphone and just going with it. Why did you say no to coming back? What do you mean? I'll let my iPad charge for a little bit. What do you mean? I do have other siblings. I have a half sister and a half sister and 2 half brothers. Excuse me. So you were suspended pending investigation. Yes, that's what I should. And I'm not really good with my words, so that's something that I need to work on. Yes, shine. Yes, exactly. Didn't you say yes? I said no to coming back. I denied it. Yeah, I said no. Thank you. I'm good. How are you? Why? I felt embarrassed. I felt ashamed knowing that people were talking about me and about that false accusations. It was this girl named Stephanie, and she wrote a letter. I don't even know where that letter is to this day, to be honest, but do you talk about vet tech stuff? A little, yeah. Oh, happy birthday. Wasn't that your Aunt Jim you were working at? No, it was owned by a wife and a husband. I am great, and you should let other people get to you because you can be the best mom ever. And you're right. I know I am the best mom. I know I am. He knows I love him. I need to find that remote. Hold on. Give me a second. I need to find that charger. You have it on your phone, right? Yeah. Okay.
I'm not back on that iPad.
Yeah, here. Okay, now, here we go. Sorry, guys. I got Aaron's phone. Now I can play without any interruptions. Where was I? Chapter what? Chapter what?
20.
Huh?
20.
No. Getting Coco, no. No. Son's 3rd birthday. I think it was, no, it was chapter 25. All right, here we go. I can't speak. Yeah. She wanted to go.
Chapter 25, my son's 3rd birthday. On December
How long were
7th,
you
my
at that
mom
tech?
just
8
got
years.
there. We all got ready, and we went to Cheesecake Factory. If you're ever in Chicago, you should definitely stop by and try that. They have the best cheesecake. I used to work there. I was a waitress. Zach was there. Cameron was so happy that he got to spend his birthday weekend with his favorite cousin. I could see that it was going to be the most amazing birthday that he could ever have, just being with his family and his cousin Zach. We then went home. I want to do something special for my son's birthday because of living at the hotel. The next morning, it was his birthday, my son's birthday. He was turning 3, so that night I told Aaron we should do something cute for when he would wake up, so Aaron went to the store. I was on TikTok Live. Aaron got in my box on TikTok Live, and we were all trying to help him pick out stuff for my son's birthday. I asked Anthony if he could come and help us, and so Anthony and I stayed up all night decorating while Aaron slept. He always gets to sleep. Mama always gets to do the hard work. Sometimes I wish I was a guy. When my son woke up, he was kind of crabby. He wasn't really wanting to get up. My mom came in the room. I was trying to wake Cameron up. I remember that Aaron got this Paw Patrol piñata, and it was right next to him on the nightstand, waiting for Cameron to wake up, and Chase was right there. Cameron really did not want to wake up. He kept falling back asleep. We finally got him up. When he saw the hotel room, he smiled. It was the cutest, most beautiful thing. Mama felt good that day. Just seeing a smile on my son's face just melted my heart. It was all worth those hours of being awake just for my baby boy. That day we all got ready and went to Red Robin, where we had to eat lunch with the family, and then went to Build-A-Bear and got Cameron a stuffed Paw Patrol animal. And then we all came back to the hotel. I got a call from a CPS caseworker mentioning about a drug test that they wanted us to take. I remember telling the CPS worker, that's fine. When do you want us to take it? He told me that he would email me a form, and I would have to take that form to take to their clinic. Mind you, there was never an open case. This was all due to internet bullies, however. I knew my innocence, and I complied with them. I told my mom when I got off the phone with CPS. My mom was upset. She wanted the numbers. She called them. She spoke to the supervisor, explained that she raised 5 kids. She has 14 grandchildren. She just came in from Florida to celebrate her grandson's birthday. That this is unacceptable. That this is just internet bullies. And what they're doing to me is horrible. And she got very upset and very angry, and the supervisor apologized and said, don't worry about it, we will skip on this. I'm like, go mom. Anyway, we got ready, and then we went to Colonial Cafe. We also met Aaron's mom and aunt there, so I can celebrate our son's birthday. It was a great night. Speaking of a great night, Santa Claus was there at the restaurant. I mean, we had a blast taking pictures, opening presents. What a way to end the night. My mom took my phone, and they went to go look at Christmas lights. Well, Aaron and I went to go get Cameron's birthday cake. We all went home. We went up to the room where my mom was staying. Zach was over. We opened the rest of the presents and cake, and then we said our good nights and ended the night. Chapter 26. Onto another hotel. The next morning it was time to start our new adventure. Onto a new hotel we packed that morning. I was on live on TT. We got all checked in at the new hotel. When we arrived at the new hotel, I gave nobody the location. I was on live with a green screen on, and I remember seeing a comment from one of the haters, and it dropped my location at the moment. My heart dropped, and I was so scared. I got off TikTok Live, and I immediately had to come up with a plan for the safety of my son. Chapter 27, my safety plan, and how reverse psychology on the bullies. So I decided to tell TikTok that I moved to Florida, and I had to play it very secretly. I had a lot of people stalking me, calling Walmart, calling the hotel, constantly trying to get us in trouble. They even had police sent over to the hotel saying that I was abusing Cameron. And the cops checked on Cameron and left. The bullies were saying that I am not in Florida, trying to trap me to tell the truth. They even made a bunch of hate pages mocking me, making fun of me, and they were trying to find out my location, but somehow they caught on. It was pretty scary. Now I am trying to figure out how all of this is getting on TikTok when I am being as private as I can. Chapter 20. Chapter 25, my son's third birthday. On December 7th, my mom just got
I'm
there.
not doing
We
this
all got
again.
ready, and we went to Cheesecake
God,
Factory.
hold on.
If you're ever in Chicago, you should definitely stop by and try that. They have the best cheesecake.
Hold
I used to
on.
work there. I was a waitress. Zach was there. Cameron was so happy that he got to spend his birthday weekend with his
Hold
favorite
on.
cousin. I could see that it was going to be the most amazing birthday that he could ever have, just being with his...
Okay, hold on.
Chapter 27, my safety plan, and how reverse psychology on the bullies. So I decided to tell TikTok that I moved to Florida, and I had to play it very secretly. I had a lot of people stalking me, calling Walmart, calling the hotel, constantly trying to get us in trouble. They even had police sent over to the hotel, saying that I was abusing Cameron. And the cops checked on Cameron and left. The bullies were saying that I am not in Florida, trying to trap me to tell the truth. They even made a bunch of hate pages mocking me, making fun of me, and they were trying to find out my location, but somehow they caught on. It was pretty scary. Now I am trying to figure out how all of this is getting on TikTok when I am being as private as I can. Chapter 28, backstabs mods. So then I find out this time my moderator Emily backstabbed me. She was one of my greatest moderators for the time. When I went on live, I told them that I was going to take a step back and get rid of everybody that was my moderator and just have 2 people that are interested. I never thought that Emily would backstab me as hard as she did. I didn't react because that's what these haters always wanted out of me. It was a reaction, and I wasn't gonna give them that. I knew I had to stay strong because I knew they found out, so I kept going on with the whole Florida and living on a little lie just to protect my son. In the meantime, I had to take a drug test for DCFS test because of these people on social media and bunch of bullies. That morning, I went to go take a drug test. I was planning on moving with Carla to Florida to stay with her until we got jobs, money saved up, everything was in place, and I just think Carla just had to take a step back, and I got too much with all the haters, and I haven't heard from her. I always checked up on her, made sure she was okay, and I asked, hey, how are you doing? You never responded to me.
That's not
and then I left her
whatever.
alone, and we were in that hotel, and I was looking at Aaron. We were trying to figure out what we could do, and we got into pretty big arguments because we were stressed. Money was tight. We had no idea where we were going to go. We had a son, and we were scared, but I always told Aaron I have faith in the God I served. And I told Aaron I'm trusting in him. He has a plan. Just give it to him. He will lead us into what he wants us and where he wants us to be. Chapter 29, Vacation to FL Fort Christmas. So it was that last week of
disgusting.
December that we were getting ready to leave to go spend vacation with my mom for Christmas. We stayed up all night, could not
I'm
sleep.
sure.
I was so excited. Chapter 30, the trip to THRER. I was on TikTok Live Diamond Painting, got a call that Danielle was in the hospital. She was very sick. And I got a call from her
Aaron
supporters
did.
asking if I could go to the hospital the night before we had to leave on a plane. And so I decided to have Anthony
Oh, that
try and
stinks.
help me. So I had Anthony go pick her up.
Dude,
Came over here to the hotel.
really?
I had Anthony stay here at the hotel with Cameron while I went to go take Danielle
Fucking
to the
nasty
hospital. Her chest
motherfucker.
was hurting. She was
Oh,
unable to
Aaron.
breathe. She was not doing okay. I remember that night Aaron had back
Oh
pain
my- I'm
or
done.
something, and he was like, I'm gonna go to the hospital. And so we ended up at the same hospital where I took Danny, and I felt like I was in a movie. It was a movie that I remember, Father of the Bride, where the mom and the daughter were pregnant, and it was the scene that they were in labor, where the father had jumped from room to room checking on them. So I felt like that was with me. Danny was in one room, and Aaron was down the hall, and I was on TikTok Live, was going back and forth. It was so funny in my head the way I pictured it. I went into the room, and I saw Aaron with a breathing mask on. I was like, no way, Aaron, you have bronchitis. And he said, yup, bronchitis. I would like, in the whole 6 years of me being with you, you are on a breathing machine. And he's like, yup. I'm like, this has to be mold, because there's no way that this could ever happen to you. You are always healthy, no issues with wheezing. So they gave him a steroid and inhaler. Aaron was always healthy. He never had any health issues. Chapter 31, the last couple of days left in IL. Danny started to cry because she did not want me to leave. I was on TikTok Live. They always told me to stay there and be with my sister. At least half of the chat was, and the other chat was like, no, you need to go to do this. You need to be there for your family. I had to make a really tough decision on leaving my sister behind. I did tell my sister I love her, and I'll always be here for her. She broke down and cried is very hard. I had to leave to go back to the house to let Anthony go back home. But that night when I was with my sister at the hospital, Anthony did so much. He packed all of my stuff. He cleaned up the hotel, because that night I stayed up packing and doing my diamond painting, get everything ready. Aaron and Anthony had a little nap, but then I woke him up and I said go get breakfast and let's go, so Aaron had to drop off his car. But we found out it was too late and we were going to miss our flight, and Cameron was still sleeping. Aaron and Anthony was trying to hurry up to get his car, putting it somewhere safe so no one would steal it. I yelled at him, and I said put your damn car somewhere, and let's it go. We're going to be late, and I was on TikTok Live. And then TikTok Live was telling me that I should get him enough ready for breakfast and get him dressed. I was like fine, I'll get them ready. And then so Anthony and Aaron was on their way back. I got Cameron up, I gave him some amoxicillin. Oh, I forgot this part. I took him that night, I'm sorry, that day to the doctor's office, because he was having this really bad cough, or whatever. Turns out he had an ear infection, so the doctor gave him antibiotics. So I woke him up, gave him breakfast, gave him his medication. I FaceTimed my mom and said, hey, we're going on, see you real soon. Here is Cameron. Chapter 32, the airport. We drove to the airport in Anthony's car.
On your
says,
main,
oh my God, I'm like, what
on
now?
here.
Anthony says I have a flat tire, and we're like, no
I'll have
way.
to look at it.
And so we had to pull over Aaron, and Anthony got out of the car doing men stuff, LOL. Or I should say I was freaking out and having a panic episode. Guy stuff. Aaron calls Uber and asked the Uber guy to come get us, and we are all freaking out. I'm on TikTok Live, all the haters and my lovely supporters were like, this is going to end up bad.
Aaron, get the
That's
fuck
why
out of
these are
here.
names that they made up because they're just obsessed with me, and they love me very much. They just
No,
can't
fuck
get
you.
enough of me. And then there's also another username named Gabi's. Who, that's another username. Oh yeah, Gabi's flight attendant, Gabi's wheelchair. So he finally got into the car that Aaron ordered for us. We made it to the airport on time. I remember telling Aaron we left his iPad in Anthony's car, so Anthony said he would drive to the airport to get it, and luckily we got his iPad because we needed that for the trip to keep him occupied while we were on the airplane. We finally boarded onto the plane. Cameron was very cranky, and me and Aaron, we were very nervous to see how this ride was going to be. Unfortunately, Cameron had a little meltdown for about 30 minutes to 45 minutes. Unfortunately, he bit my face, and then he knocked out and he was sleeping for the rest of the flight. Then Mom and Dad had some quiet time and had a few drinks. The flight attendants were so sweet. We finally landed. We got to meet Mom. My mom was really happy to see Cameron, and Cameron was so happy to see her. It melted my heart. From the time that I used to live with her back in 2021, I could tell Cameron felt like he knew he's been here before. It's more like familiar to him. That kind of made my heart warm. So we finally drove to my mom's house, and I thought to myself that Florida was different, and the same as before. My mother looked at me and said it is different, and then I saw the palm trees broken down, and I remembered there was that hurricane called Ian that destroyed Fort Myers, Florida. I was actually there and witnessed it. I didn't realize how bad it was since then. I thought to myself about going live on TikTok and wanted to take a mental break and just spend Christmas with my family. I knew that I had a lot of haters, and they weren't gonna ruin this for me. I had a lot of respect for my mother and her home. Chapter 33. We landed in Fort Myers, FL for Christmas. We got settled in. Cameron's face lit up when we got to my mom's place. I could tell that he was really excited, and he knew where we were, and was like a crazy experience, like a deja vu. He went straight to the house and went straight into my mom's bedroom. Now mind you, when we used to live there for a whole year, Cameron loved my mom's closet. He loved to put on shoes and walk around the house. He went straight for the closet and saw the shoes, and then he went up to my mom and gave her the most amazing tight squeeze hug. We were there for about a week. Mind you, there was this woman back in Illinois that I met on TikTok. Her name is Carla, and the plan was to move with her. We were thinking that we're going to stay with her, and it ended up her ghosting us and just not even responding to us at all. So we're like, now we have to figure out what we're gonna do and where we were gonna move. Then we all kind of were talking about where we were going to move to, what was our next move. We had no idea. We were just going day by day. And then there was another person, and her name was Karen, and Karen has always told me that she would always have an extra bedroom if we really needed a place to stay. So that was always in the back of my head. Now I'm very independent and I would like to do things by myself. But sometimes, when life gets too hard, unfortunately, when somebody offers something, sometimes it's the best to take that help. So even though I wasn't planning on doing anything at the moment, I still had a lot on my mind that I wanted to do to see if I could do it myself. And so we had a great Christmas. Cameron had a blast. It was the best Christmas that I could ever have for my son. He had both his parents, and he had his favorite Mimi there. Of course, I was always on TikTok, not a lot actually, that I kind of took a break. I was on and off. I wasn't really giving too much information, just telling my supporters what I was doing and what was my plan without giving too much information. Somebody I was still trying to figure out. My bearded dragon. It was our family member. We were promised that we would be able to get that bearded dragon, which is his name is Rex, back. I texted Aaron's cousin And he told me, yes, you can get Rex back, by the end of the year, but if it's after the new year, and you don't have a place for him, or if you can't figure it out, then I will find him a good home. I said, please find him a good home. He goes, I'll do a background check. I'll make sure it goes to the right person. Needless to say, it ended up with my leasing agent, who has done so wrong to me. And she was on this app TikTok, bashing me when I was a tenant back in Illinois. And Aaron's cousin gave the bearded dragon to her. That broke my heart. Because how can somebody tell somebody that I'll get my bearded dragon back, but then manipulates and lies to me and gives the bearded dragon to a person that they knew was horrible? With what that person did to me, I have kept up with Aaron's cousin about the whole situation now. Aaron and I were trying to figure out what we were gonna do. We were thinking about going back to Illinois, getting a hotel. We didn't really know what the plan was. We were trying to enjoy Christmas, but at the same time we were like, what are we gonna do? We are on a time crunch. We were scared. I just kept praying to God. I knew that he had a plan for us, and I trusted in him. Chapter 35, trying to figure out where we are gonna go. Aaron and I were just talking the next day. I thought to myself, why not stay here? I told Aaron, even if we go back to Illinois, where are we going to go? We have no money for a hotel for how many months, and that's expensive, and we have no job. And I knew that this person, Linda, has always offered an extra bedroom. So I told myself, have Aaron start applying for a job, start looking for places, and applying for places. And then I messaged Linda asking her if her offer still stood. And she replied, saying, yes, of course. That's when I decided to talk to my mother. And I said, Mom, I think we're planning on staying here living with Linda. And so we had a few more days to try to find something, even though living with somebody who was amazing and was so sweet to offer her home to us. I still wanted to get my own place. I wanted a home for Cam. He's been bounced too many times, living with people, living with my mom, living in how many hotels. And now we're going to live with somebody again. So I decided as a mother, I was going to fight, and I was trying to apply for anything and everything in Florida. Not having a job was really tough, but by the grace of God, Aaron applied one night. It took one night. The next morning, he got an email to get an interview with a really good company, something that he loves to do, or he would love to do. That day, he went for an interview, and right there, he got the job on the spot. That's God doing his work with everything.
Amen.
You can't tell me that that's not God. It gave me the chills down my back. I knew God was on my side. I knew he had a plan. That's why I've been trusting in him all of this time. If you let God do his work, he will. It just might not be on your timing. Linda mentioned about her landlord asking if he has any properties that are available. Turns out he did. Linda texted him and put in a good word, which we were very grateful that she did that, and he got in touch with the landlord, and he mentioned to talk to this one person named Mike, who he would have filled out the application and go through the process of applying for this duplex that were available ASAP. So the next day I called Mike and I asked him, what's the protocol on applying for this duplex? And then I was speaking to the landlord. Everything is going great, and these last 3 days we were in contact with this Mike person, and I just got a really good feeling that we were going to get this place. He was working with us. I told him about our credit and about the infection and about the mold. I was just really upfront with him and honest, and he understood it. He was very nice about it, and the last couple of days it was just a good feeling of me thinking, he's not gonna deny us. He's trying to work with us on the questions that he was asking. It just kind of made me feel like God really has a plan for me. And I was praying every single day, just letting God take over. And I always told Aaron, if it's not meant to be, it's not meant to be. And God will always say it's not for you right now. And you have to understand it and believe it and let God do his work. Chapter 36, getting approved for the house while on our mini Christmas vacation. Meanwhile, we are still trying to have the best time on in our little mini vacation with Mimi, Grandma, Mom. We went swimming, went to the lakes park. We hung out with Linda. She was my TikTok supporter. Finally got to meet with her. And her daughter, very sweet. Never know when meeting people from the internet how it's always going to be, but it ended up pretty good. It was the last night staying with my mother, and we got a text message saying the place is ours, and we can move it on Wednesday. And so we only had to live with Linda for 4 days. Was crying. I was so happy. It was a miracle. I couldn't believe it. And so we packed up, and we stayed with Linda for 4 days. We entered this beautiful home, and I can finally say Cam has a home. Mama and Dada did everything with some help to be able to put a roof over his head and to have his own room. My son has never had his own room, and he is 3 years old. Before moving into our home, when we were trying to look at this duplex, Cameron walked in, and he was so happy and was running around smiling. I asked Cameron, are you happy? This is our home. And he nodded his head, and he said yes. I can't thank you enough for my mother and Aaron's mom, who helped us get into this beautiful place. Aaron was really happy that he got a job and couldn't wait to start his new job. Chapter 37, we move into our new home. We moved in January 2024. Things were going great. We were getting everything unpacked, trying to settle into our new home. The next couple of days, I get a knock on my door, and it was CPS. And as we were trying to unpack our stuff, they brought 2 drug tests that we had to take. My mom was present. Linda was present, and so was Aaron. We both took a drug test for them. And then the report stated that we were leaving Illinois when we had an open DCFS case. As all of this was going down in Illinois, I have a letter from the CPS worker that there's no case, and that we were able to go to Florida. Mind you, this is all the haters that are doing this for no reason, stalking me, tracking my every move. I even showed a letter before going to Florida to prove to the haters and to my supporters that I'm not doing anything illegal, and that I was confirmed with the CPS worker that I can move to Florida. Chapter 38, getting settled in our new home. As I was trying to get everything settled, I was trying to do so many things at once, trying to unpack the car, organize the new home, trying to get Cameron scheduled for therapy and a school, trying to get insurance for the both of us, typical things when you move out of state or move to a different area. Tried to get everything settled for the last 8 months. Good and bad, mind you. I was a TikTok live streamer blogging about my life. My lives have lots of haters going after my family, but again, they didn't stop me. However, Cameron has made friends with the neighbors outside that he is in love with till this day. I was trying to get Coco trained for a service dog to help Cameron with his needs. Find out that I got approved, and somebody found out and called the company and tried to ruin it for me and spread lies all over the internet about me. The company to get Coco not trained, telling the company that I was lying about his diagnosis, during that we had really good times going to beach and just enjoying Florida sunshine. I've made a close friend that I met on TikTok, and her name was Linda, and she's the one that helped us get into this place. She has a daughter named Mackenzie, and Cameron and Mackenzie were best buddies, always hanging out. I had a friend, and it felt nice. I was trying to get into school. I applied for IEP to help him to succeed. Everybody said that I was a liar about my son diagnosed. I never did that. Chapter 39, bullies and CPS. I was trying to find
We're almost
a
done.
job for last year, and I'm unable to find a job. And I wonder if it was my social media. In the last 6 months, I've had about 7 to 8 caseworkers from CPS at my door for false accusations from social media, all unfounded. I have took over 30 drug tests from Illinois to Florida. I have gotten multiple threats, multiple people spreading hate and lies. They've slandered my name. They have said some pretty nasty things about me on this app. Now, as for you would probably think that I just get off. That's not the case with me. I have a story here, and I'm about to show the world. A lot of people get bullied, and everyone's afraid to stand up. But not me. I've always had a couple of songs that I have sung and danced to for the last 3 years of what has happened to me, and I just get knocked down, but I get up, and I have the strength of God is my first person that I look up to. And I've always had him fight my battles, and just leave it to him. I've had haters live stream me, run their mouth about me, spread all kinds of hateful things about me. They have made false reports, made DCFS harassment, stalking, seen police at my house, putting my son's information out. Of this was happening, I still had a smile on my face. Cameron has also made a lot of friends with the neighbors. We had some really good times. I'm glad I found a place where my son can have friends and a home. It's about time things start to change for me. All I want the best is for my son. So my son started school on August after everything settled in. He was doing amazing the next couple of months since he's been in school. His speech has improved. I'm very proud of him. It's been a rough battle, or a hard battle I should say. I've done some diamond painting that I have sold, just help out with the bills. I also do TikTok battles, and that's where I Aaron with what he needs for this house until I find a job. I'm still unable to find a job. I feel horrible because Aaron should not be the one to carry the load by himself, so I'm trying my hardest to help him in many different ways. I've done diamond art, I've done battles on TikTok. I have done and tried to make it in everything that I have tried. It works for a few months, and then things just happened, and it's just time to put it away, because diamond art and the cups were just too expensive, and it wasn't making ends meet. You ask me why I get hate on probably, well, let me tell you, when I blog my life, I'm real. I'm not fake. I make people laugh. I spend time with my son, we go places, and of course I take my people with me just to see what I do in a day-to-day basis. I usually put my phone on a counter and do me. A lot of people say I have a lot of patience, which I do, and I'm full of energy, and I honestly think that this is all part of jealousy. And somebody is always happy, and always smiling, and always just upbeat. A lot of people can't handle that, and they come. I didn't really do to any of us. My son did not deserve any of us. Neither did my mom, neither did my fiance. During all of craziness, Linda has been involved with a lot of things that are not true, and with the haters destroying the relationship. They're also destroying her own life by doing what they are doing. And the lies that they come up with talking about she gives me drugs, how they have their own little secret talk when Linda comes over is their own narrative. It's not what's true, it's based on what they want to happen. That's the point in all of us. It's nothing that I did wrong. It's nothing that my mom did wrong. It's the fact that when
Yes,
somebody
you're right.
hates
C
another
has
person
came a long
so
way.
bad, they want that person to be how they want you to be. But at the end of the day, it's not the truth with me. And social media, and everyone that's close to me been there for me. I can't think they have seen my thinking. I could trust a lot of people, but ended up really hurting me even more against me heart. They have seen struggles. They have seen what I've gone through. Even my friend Linda, who I met on TikTok, who I thought was my friend. But then when the haters got to her, she turned on me. I understand.
Yep.
When so much is given to one person sometimes, you can't handle all of it and you just want it to be gone and over with, so I understand why she did it. And then I've had only her, but my mods have turned on me with all these lies and agreeing with the hate to make me look out to be the horrible person. CPS calls over and over and over again. I am filled with so much hurt, public humiliation, defamation. All the above is how I feel about this whole situation, wondering if I go out into the public, how people look at me based on what these people have said about me. That's not true. Wonder if they would look at me differently. But I just ignored it and just let it go. And let them just do it and just push. And I'm talking about over haters, I'm talking about over a couple of 100 pages and more. I've had over 10 to 12 pages about me and my family. And then after a few months, Linda has come back into my life again, and she has apologized for what she did, and knowing that I have a good heart, I forgive her for what she's done. And it's not just her that did some damage, and then apologized was plenty of other people that have done me wrong, and then came to me. Never forget, but will so then Linda and I have been having a good relationship after that incident. There's always just new people coming in, and hating up on me, and talking about me, and not even knowing who I am before they even judge me. I usually just go live, and just clean.
Thank you.
Sometimes I don't even know why I get all this hate. My fiance has been here for me. I've also had some people that supported me, and have been a silent watcher, and have been helping me in the back with all of this, and supported me from the hate, which is very nice. The thing about social media, everyone wants clout, everyone wants views, not me. I just want support. I just want to make friends, not all about the views. I actually don't want it. However, during all of this I got a vehicle for Cameron for his motor skills. We would have pool parties. We would have birthday parties out in the backyard, such good times. And then there was more CPS calls. It's like they were trying to make me miserable, to make them feel better about themselves. There's always one song that I always play, Obsessed by Mariah Carey. These people will not leave me alone. They put a very bad taste in my mouth. They've also made fun of my clam slam, which is a high kick into a split. I'm not the one that actually called it clam slam. They, the haters, described it as my tuna fish slamming down to the ground. But knowing me, I didn't let that stop me. And I just went with it. During all of this, I was just trying to figure it all out, wondering what I should do as far as a side job. It was very confusing. Chapter 40, the bullying is getting worse. In the last year of being in this home, it has been emotionally damaging, causing significant
Guys, tap that
emotional
screen,
stress.
please. They're
I
reporting
just
me.
go on a live stream without someone jumping on their platform and talking about me constantly, about me, my hygiene, talk about the clothes I wear, or talk about my son, my family, talk about how my
Or maybe I
mother
gotta talk about something
and my
else. I don't
sister
know.
would just go on for hours nonstop. They have a Reddit, they have a Discord, they harass and body shame, they laugh at us and stalk us on there, talk about how they can get my son taken away with Coco, talk about Cam screaming so that I would have no friends, or no support, or no mods, no money, no friends, no job, or Cameron taken away, or Coco taken. I tried to explain to all of my supporters, to all my mods, to all my close friends that I got on this app, and was telling them what they're trying to do, but it did not work. A lot of them just walked away and hated on me. But I always told myself the truth will come to the light. I kept pushing.
Because
And
no
over the
interaction.
last year, CPS has been to my house multiple times.
It's almost done.
Maybe over 10, 15 caseworkers because of internet bullies.
My tooth
And I'm not
hurts.
the perfect mother. I've made mom mistakes, first time mom mistakes. But the one
Does
thing
she have
I
any
not
underwear on?
abuse or neglect my son. And that's what they were accusing me of. They were also accusing me of being on drugs. Every time CPS came knocking on my door, they had a drug test and I took it. I let them come in my house. I would have them talk to me.
Yeah.
Talk to me. I complied over and over again. It was like, this is the same thing back in Illinois. I
Good.
had nothing to hide. It was just over and over and over again. It was just like they weren't stopping because Cameron wasn't getting taken away. I've had no open
This one.
cases. I was never found guilty. One day, CPS came knocking on my door about medical neglect that I was being accused of. There is no proof. CPS came and looked at Cameron, found no marks, no burns.
I'll basically stop the video. So basically, and this continues. It goes on to the courts, and it goes on to what I've done, and the C and D's and whatever and whatnot. But if the book's not finished, I gotta get a publisher. I have to get someone to help me. I have to take things out. I have to put things in, and I gotta do a lot of work. But I mean, I've wrote all the way up until with FIEST turtle. That is where I am leaving off. So if you know, you know. So all the way up until now. So yeah. The last 4 years have been really rough. I've been through some hard fucking shit, dude. And what they've done to me is horrible. What they put me and my family through, no one should ever have to go through it. No one. I don't care what they did. Not to this extent. Just not to this extent. I never thought I would actually write a book or an autobiography. Back in Illinois, somebody said, "Gabi, have you ever thought about writing a book?" And I'm like, "Writing a book? Huh? No, not really." And they said, you have a story here. And I'm like, "Really?" And they're like, "Yeah, you do." She's like, "You might want to consider it." And then everyone's like, "Yeah, Gabi, you should. Yeah, Gabi, you should." And that's when I started to write. And that's just, yeah, how that happened. So, yeah. Yeah. A story of resilient and strength. I agree. It's basically to show the world, not show the world, but just show, maybe somebody can relate to my story, especially my childhood, biological parents at a young age, grandparents raising them. Maybe someone can relate to autistic and kids and going through all the behaviors. Maybe somebody can relate to the hotel scenario. Maybe someone can relate to a struggle in a relationship and leaving, and what happens with that, and how I had a baby, and how, do you know what I'm saying? There's parts of my book that's so real and so just every part of that book someone has a connection to. And the book is from my childhood, my journey to cyberbullying. And then with TikTok, yeah, I can relate to the relationship abuse with my ex. It's horrible. It's so real and so raw. And honestly, with the cyberbullying and the hotels and the whole experience that I even said in my book, all of my supporters have, if I really was lying about it, they would probably tell you. Not just one, but everything I stated was true because I was on live. They've seen it. They saw it. You see what they do to me. That's why I tell you about CPS. That's why I'm like, yep, they were here just a couple days ago. I tell you everything that has gone on in my life. I'm not here to get money off this. I'm here to spread awareness on cyberbullying, on cyberstalking. What they're doing is not okay. Bringing awareness to it, calling out TikTok for letting this behavior happen, and giving them consequences for their behavior, and speaking for other people that couldn't speak for them and walked off this app, and their life got destroyed. And then what I want to do is after that gets handled, I want my people to come. Like there's a podcast. I really got to focus on that. But when this is all over and done with, I would like people to speak up and tell me their side of the story, and the people that are coming after me. If they came after them, I want them to speak their story, their truth. I honestly think you're sitting on a bestseller. And so basically I'm praying to God that the book ends. I'll let you figure that out. Don't let the bullies win. With the whole CPS, the police trying to make my life miserable, the death threats, the rape threats, everything, you guys, everything that I have been through. There's no words. And in my book, I'm going to put pictures of things that actually has happened, like pictures from the hotel that I've have, pictures of me getting cyberbullied. I want to put my words, and I want to make the story real by putting pictures and the whole, what actually happened, not just by you reading it, but you seeing it also. Does that make sense? And I don't know how I can make that happen by having a book with pictures in it. But yeah. I'm here for a reason. Trust me, I don't know how I do this, you guys. I really don't. She is online. Who is? Actually, she is. What is she saying? D? What is she saying? What about CPS? Talking about court? For what? Because I don't force people. Well, that's her right. She can bring up whatever she wants to bring up. I don't care. Yeah. There's a lot that I have to. I'm not good with my words. I've never been really good with my words. I have to find someone that could help me, and sit down with me, and basically just I tell them what happened and they just write it for me. That's what I kind of need help with, which I don't know. No, people are starting clout. It's okay. They're probably starting drama. Listen, I just said she's not one, so I didn't argue, but it's whatever. Y'all need to stop. Are you and Dee getting along? Well, she did get on my live and she wished me a happy birthday. She was nice about it. I was shocked. So, I mean, I don't know. I just wish that she wouldn't believe all these people in the chat. The TikTok really ruined our relationship. It's sad, but I mean, what are you gonna do, right? I get why Danny did what she did. She'll deny it, but I would want people to like me too. Danny's a people pleaser, and so am I, but I think I'm changed. I think I mean, I still am kind of a people pleaser, but like, I've seen the light. And it took me a while to see the light, but I did. But Danny, it's just very sad. That's all I can say. I mean, hey, listen, if I got $2,000, I would talk about my sister. And 1 million likes, shit. I'll say some bad stuff just to get money. I mean, let's just be honest, right? Yeah, let's talk about your sister and just hurt her all for money. I gotta shut up. Nothing. 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 I gotta shut up. Danny's a good person. It's just the chat got into her fucking head. And brainwashed her. So. Yeah. Be the bigger person. Yeah. I'm not gonna talk bad about my sister, but I want to talk about the chats because I can't sit